It might be cold outside, wet, windy. And Storm Kira's doing her best to blow us all over. So I thought we'd come inside today and do some crafting. I hope you'll join me. Yes, I know I'm looking a little bit windswept this morning. Hardly surprising. I've started a new type of art that I've spotted, mainly through my younger son, who uses the mandalas, and this is one I've created. I've just been practicing, just been seeing where it goes. This is another one. So I quite like this one, so I thought what I would try and do is one in blue, so that it looks like a blue snowflake. Now that was a pattern that I took off, somebody else was on YouTube doing their mandalas, and that was a fairly similar one. I have been trying, I've come up with a few designs of my own. This is a little tea light. There's one lady, Rachel's Rocks in Canada, who does painting stones, and I've done a few stone mandalas, but I've also done a few baubles as well. So this time I thought I'd do another one like this one. I've got this one up here as well. So I thought I'd give it a little go and see how we get on. I'll just get set up and I hope you'll join me. Okay, so the first thing to do is I've taken this is the first time I've used this setup like this, so I do hope you'll bear with me if I seem to be popping up and down to make sure it's still recording. This is a 12 by 12, I believe. No, it's a 7.5 by 7.5 canvas. That'll do. I've invested in some dotting tools, and I've found that the chalk, when you're marking out, chalk doesn't always rub off, and if it does rub off, it tends to rub off your mandala art with it. So I did see one lady doing this, just marking it with just one of the dotting tools to find the center, and I just thought that works because it's so light you can't see it. Okay, it just gives you the center of the dot. Am I still in there? Yeah, okay. So I've bought a set of these. I can't remember whether it was Wish or Amazon, it'll be one or the other. I'll try and find out and then I'll give you the links. So find the center dot, which is there. Place your stencil over it. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so what I'm going to do then is I will just mark 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to get a different stencil which just has the 8 in there. She says disappearing. Okay. Oh, goodness me, they're right beside me. That's the 8. Okay, so I'll just swap to this one for the moment. Okay, which will give me the 8 points. Now, I don't know how many points a snowflake have got. I'm sure somebody will tell me. But to me, this just means it gives me, okay, I'll just do a couple of rounds just to keep me on track. I'm not necessarily going to stick with them, but okay, I just may as well go out to the other side. And then if I need any bigger, I can use the other one. At least it will give us an idea of where we're going with it, which all these stencils. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if I bring it up, tilt it a little bit. Oh, there you go. You can see the marks. Okay. So to start with, I'm going to take one of the larger dotting tools. Now these are acrylic rods. I'm going to use the paint that I'm going to use. There's various. I've got various colours. What have I got? I've got Pibeo, Hobbycraft, Reeves. That one doesn't say. Boldmer. Okay, so they're just acrylic paints that I've gathered over the years. So I'm going to start with white in the middle. Should I start with, no, I'm going to start with the darker colour in the middle, which is this one, Hobbycraft Ultramarine Blue. So we'll see how this goes. And dab it on, then holding it over what I believe to be the centre, press it down, make your mark and come away. Now to clean the rods, I just keep some tissue paper handy, and I will get covered because I always do. Okay, so the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to take and again I'm going to do this whole desk. I need to give it a quick wipe. I've just finished a commission for a door number, and I'm afraid I've got the yacht varnish everywhere. Okay, so again I'm going to go in the same colour, and I'm just going to dot on that cross. Okay, now you're just coming straight down, and you see how these just use them for the guidelines. Yeah, I have done a few that have been totally freehand without these before I got the stencils, but I did find it a little bit difficult to keep in straight lines, and it made the mandalas look a little bit strange. So right, now going in to this funny sort of cobalt blue, I believe, and I'm going to use the smaller end, and then I'll go in between these dots, like that. I can't believe this wind is still going, and I thought it would have blown itself out by now. I hope everybody was okay yesterday in the storms. There were quite a few places closed around and about, closed early. This one that was a cobalt blue. Perhaps this is the cerulean blue. I'll go for the slightly bigger dot, and I'm just going to go place a dot above these dots. Get fairly close. At the moment I'm basically just marking stuff out. Goodness me, hope you can hear me above this wind. There we go, like that. Okay, then using the cerulean blue still, I'm going to place one smaller dot in the middle of these two, do a crown. Which is 3 little dots. Okay? So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I do find this very therapeutic, I have to say. It's very calming. As I was saying, my younger son's a Buddhist, and we went to a Buddhist art exhibition in London at the British Library. And we weren't sure what we were going to see, but it turned out to be almost like a history of Buddhism and the art and how they use art in their religion. And there were some amazing pieces. Some of the stuff there was dates right the way back, centuries, thousands of years, you know. Learned an awful lot. It's a very, very interesting day. Excuse me, I'm just going to have a cup of tea. Just to warm up a little bit. Now, I'm going to go back to a slightly bigger one. On a bigger stick, the blue one. So I'm going to go into this, which I think is, no, not that one, it's that one, just pale green. Okay, so I tend to do a dummy run first, and this one is going to go there. Just plonk it down. Now do make sure you go straight up after you've plonked it down. Good technical word, I know. Because if you don't, some of these acrylic paints tend to have a little tail and it drags across your work. Okay. And there. Lovely colour. I'm just going to get a new. Okay. So with the lighter green, which is pearlescent green. Oh, that could be pretty. Right. Take the bigger dotting tool. Going to place one of the bigger ones there. I've chosen these colours because they all look sort of like snowflakey, but sort of all ice cool colours. Didn't want any warm today. They could do with it because it's not very warm outside, is it? Okay, then using the smaller end of the same tool. So each tool has 2 different ends. Yes, I know, I've got blue all over me already, look. Yeah. Using the same colour, going to walk the dots round to there. So that's 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And as you run out of paint, or as you go walk it round, you run out of paint, 5, and you get the smaller effect, or the effect that you're actually dotting smaller and smaller when you're not. You're using the same amount of paint. Now, because these are freehand, they won't be identical at all. Each one will be ever so slightly different, but that's what makes them unique. So I could probably do the same pattern 4 or 5 times. And each one would be different. Sorry, a lapse of concentration there. Okay. I can't believe this. There we go. It took me a long time to get my fire going this morning because I think the wind coming down the chimney kept blowing it out. And I have to say, it's not giving out a great deal of heat. I think I will be back in a moment. Sorry about that. I'll probably cut that out. Okay, so having finished that, I think I'm going to go for some... No, if I'm... See, I was going to follow this sort of pattern, but I seem to have gone way off it now, so I shan't bother. So what I'm going to do now is taking that one, I'm going to drag it, so make sure there's plenty of paint on there. Okay, starting above that dot but below the line. Now this doesn't drag as well on canvas as it does on slate and stone. So you may have to go back over it to get the right shape. So you put the dot down, go back for some more paint and drag it down. Okay. I'm going above the first dot in the chain of dots and coming down as close to the line as the paint will let me. Okay, I'm just curving it as I come down, so it's a dot, back for a bit more paint, dot, and bring it round. Dot, more paint, and bring it, a bit more paint, bring it down. Okay, dot, dot, and bring it down. Get the idea? Now, when I'm doing this, I'll probably speed it up. Because otherwise this is going to be a very, very long video. Okay. Dot it, back for some more. just bring it down. So it's not the easiest manoeuvre when you're on canvas, because the canvas tends to grab your paint, whereas when you're on rocks or slate, everything slides a lot better. But I really fancied some of these. Okay, again, they're not going to be identical, but that's because you've got to remember this is a handmade item. And handmade items, you're paying for originality, you're not paying for perfection. Okay, there we are. So, going down a size, which is that one, I think. Yep. Go back to the white. And I will go above and in just slightly there. Gosh, on the line. And I'll bring that one down just a bit. So basically, there. And that's two. I may as well, since I'm here, just do the dot at the top and come down. And then we've got a little frosty pattern. It does sometimes help to have slightly thinner paint sometimes, so maybe I should have thinned it out a little bit. Didn't do my dot first, sorry. Right. Every so often you do have to wipe off the heads because that does get clogged with paint. There we are. Okay. Sometimes when you put the dot down, you think you've got enough paint and you just go for the slide. And other times you think, no, I haven't got anywhere near enough. So each little slide here is going to be as individual as your piece of artwork. I know it's been quite a while since I've been in the hut. I have been busy, I must admit, I have been working, but mainly on commissions. And as a couple of them were surprise, like Christmas presents and stuff, so I couldn't post those, and then a couple of lessons and Christmas craft fairs, and January slipped by without me noticing. So I do apologise. I do think it's hard to get motivated in January. January's a funny month, unless you have a birthday in it. It's a bit of a long, dreary month. So I think it was quite nice to get away for the day. As we go out for the day and whatever we end up doing, my eldest son lives in London, so we always end up going out for a meal with him, which is nice to see him. Just check that's still centre-ish. Yeah. Oh, tea is cold. Never mind, it's wet. I have put the kettle on, but I'm not sure the fire is going to reach the right temperature for that today. slide it down. Obviously when you're doing this on slate or stone, like I say, it is a lot easier and it's a much quicker movement. But I do find, say, the canvas, I like the ideas of the canvas, but so it does make these slidey things a little bit more difficult to do. Just do a little bit more on that. Thought I had enough paint. Okay. There. So we're there now. Let's do some more dotting. Now in the set came some acrylic rods, which I'm now going to do. I think I'm going to do the pearlescent. I quite like that. Do a dot above each one. Now the dot I'm doing is underneath this ring here. I did see one lady when I was learning how to do this. She had a little tiny turntable underneath her work, which it's quite a good idea actually, because you are constantly turning it. And it also means, I nearly put it in the wrong place, it also means that you're keeping it in the one place for when you're doing your videos, which makes sense. Okay, back to this. I'm using one of the smaller ones now, and I'm going to go, actually, that one is the next size down, so I think I'll do another dot on top before I go to the dotting tool. And that one is, now I've come down a size, this tiny little one. You have to watch what you're doing, because it's the second time I've nearly done that. Okay, don't press too hard on it. Don't press it completely flat. Okay. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to a slightly smaller one, again using this, and I'm actually going to dot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here, just to make that disappear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, make it a little bit because we're coming here, we've got a large amount in the middle of the snowflake. I'm not even sure it's really a snowflake, to be fair. Okay, then using my bigger, the other end of it, we'll do like that. Now we've not got a line to follow here, so you do have to be a bit more careful that you don't go off. Which that one has a little bit. Okay. Then I think with the white and the very tip, I think I'm going to do little dots. Oh, see, that's what I mean, you get little tails. Just on the ends of the white. There we go. Might actually turn them into a little crown, I don't know yet. No, I don't think so. I'll just keep them at little dots. Just breaks it up a little bit because the white is quite solid. But then you can, like I've done on the slate, when it's dry, go over with a darker colour. I don't think I'll be doing that. I think I'll do lighter all the way around. Oh, done. Okay. So, now what? Now where should we go? Okay, let's come back to this colour. And let's come from here. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I've not gone in the pearlescent one, I've just gone in the light green. Excuse me. My cup of tea. Yay, sunset. Now you could do both sides at the same time, but I find it easier. Your hand tends to get into a rhythm, like a bit of a memory pattern. So I do it all one way and come back and do the other. Sorry if I've gone quiet, but I'm really concentrating on this bit. I hope you give these a try, because I must admit, I do find them so relaxing to do. Oh, done. See, you go round, you don't even realise you're round. Okay, I'm going to put some more blue in, I think. So I'm going to come back round to, in fact, I think what I'm going to do is take a little brush, excuse my hand, take some white, take some of that, which was the cobalt blue, and I'm going to make a light blue. Obviously you don't have to make a huge pile, but you do have to make enough of a pile to get all the way around with what you want to do. Okay, all right. I don't actually have any water here at the moment, so that can just sit on there. Okay, so now right, so I really need to be doing that in one of these dips, and I need an awful lot more paint. So back to the brush. Okay, let's hope that works this time. Okay. That's better. Just go over there because they're not round. Okay. That's when you need to clean them because they've got paint. You're not getting a circle. Okay, turn it over to the smaller end. And bring it out. Now on these ones you've still got the line. To follow. May actually change those dots because I'm not very happy with how they're looking, so I may change those into a drag and pull, dot and drag. Okay. So if you don't like something, because there's no rules to a mandala, because mandala is for your own personal meditation. So although you can buy them, they are basically for you to meditate while you're doing them, while you're creating them. And when you're finished, obviously. Yeah, I like that a lot better. like that. They just weren't doing it for me as little dots, but they are as little slideys. Okay, there we go. That was soon corrected. Okay, so because I've got those on there, what I am going to do is go back to the actual blue itself, and I'm just going to put a blue dot on the end of them. Oh, my kettle's boiling, yay! Because as my tea's gone cold, that'll be ideal. And I think I will leave it at that, and then I'll come back when it's dry and we'll put in some colours on top of the blue. Okay, see you in a few. Okay, I've let it dry pretty much, helped it a little bit. So coming back, what are we going to do? I think I'm going to go for a pale blue dot in the middle, which, I know it looks like a waste of paint there, but there's something attaching itself to the bottom of that stick. So it's going to be mainly white, because you saw me mix this up earlier. Just make sure you get a good coverage on the bottom. Hold it directly over the dot, because you can barely see the dot. That didn't work. There we go. That brings it up. Okay, so it wasn't quite dry in the middle, but we can cover that over. Okay. Now, I think I'm going to take some of the green, put it on. This is the pearlescent green. And then, what's that? That was the size for that, so we need the size down. I think I'm actually going to put some white on these ones. Now these have got quite a peak, so I'm not sure how these are going to work out. I might be able to squash them down. pretty much covering the one underneath. That's okay, because I think that was too green anyway. So I don't mind. It's just as well I don't mind. It's not a lot I can do about it now. Okay. Okay. All right. Then I think taking the pale blue colour that I made, if I've got enough left, go over these ones. Okay, I think I need to make some more of that up. That's better. Forgot where I was there for a minute, sorry about that. I think I've just jigged the table, so I hope that doesn't make the camera swing too much. Don't want you getting seasick. It's the first time I've used the tripod. I hope it gives a better idea, because I just thought this particular one, I really do need to demonstrate how to do it. Now, I don't like that centre dot anymore, so I'm going to come back and I'm going to make it a white dot. I'm going to go back to my big stick. So I've given it a barrier of white. There we go. Like that better now. And then just to knock it down so that it's a round dot, not a Mount Snowdon. And you can push the paint around a little bit. It does allow you to do it to get the circle. Yeah, I prefer that now. Okay, have a think. Okay. Excuse me. I'm going back to the white. Do I or don't I? Do you think I need a dot there? Bring this round so I can actually reach it. See why it's how many of these demonstration videos that I'd watched actually fast forward. I can really see where that's coming from now, because that's an old one. I just need the finest of the finest, tiniest of the tiniest. There we go. Apparently this is called over dotting. Always have to make sure that your bottom dot, or your top dot rather, is smaller than your bottom dot. And then I think using the blue, which was this blue, I think. Going to fill up that little space. So bringing that one round. So this was my, whatever colour. Oh, this was my cobalt blue, wasn't it? What did I just do? Did that. Try and aim it up into the middle of those swooshes. Nope. Type thing. Just was missing a link. I think that this is the missing link. There we go. That's better. But I'm just listening to the birds. I bet the birds are getting thrown about a bit today. I've just, over the holidays, my husband built me a new bird table, and I've just put loads of food out on it, and I don't know if they're going to be able to land on it. It's so windy, they might overshoot. Okay, and I'm also going to go back into this one, and I'm going to put a dot underneath each one. See, that had a tail on it, so I managed to stop that one. So just going back and filling in a few little holes that I think are there. You may not agree, but it's my Mandela. Gosh, not been attitudey like that since I was a teenager. Okay. There we are. Now you could do something on those, but I don't think I will actually. I quite like it the way that it is. I'll just dampen down some of these. Because they are a bit high. Sorry. Bring them down. The green paint underneath isn't totally dry, so it's coming through. So I may well redot these again when it's all totally dry. I tried to hurry it through by drying it with the heat gun. I think it needs a little, maybe some of that pearl. Just a little bit. Yeah, that's what's missing. Brilliant. Oh yeah, I like that. And because it's the second layer of paint, it actually slides better. Oh yeah, I'm really liking this paint. I bought this paint in a sale. I know it's a Hobbycraft one, but I bought it in a Facebook sale. Someone was getting rid of old stock. I wish there was more colours like it. It's really nice. Goes on well. There, that's what it needed. And then what that probably means is that when I go over those white dots, I will go over them with this. So I will take a break, dry it, and then come back to it. I'm just gonna check. Yes, sorry, I just needed to check that we were still recording, because last time I stopped I did get a bit worried that I think I must have hit the stop button. This is the first time I've recorded using my phone. I was going to use my camera, but the battery was flat, so yes, I do have some spare batteries, but I have no idea where they are. And this is actually quite good because this is showing you how these swooshes actually work in reality. I say canvas is a bit difficult. Same thing again, if like that one there, you don't have enough paint to move, just go back, reload your tool and go with it. And I've always enjoyed art, well, painting, since I left school. Didn't enjoy it at school. Too many rules and regulations, but I've always been creative in that I've always done sewing or embroidery or tapestries, dressmaking. But it was really only when I lost my mum and inherited some of her stuff that I thought, I'll give painting a go, using some of my mum's equipment. So I did. And you know what? It's brilliant. Okay, I'll just go and give this a try and then come back.